everyone, welcome to my channel, The Media. I'm Andrew. In this channel, we're going to be looking at different disruptive companies in order to unlock exponential gains. Because exponential gains will allow us to achieve our financial freedom. And disruptive companies are companies that will adopt a new way of doing things that are usually more innovative, that are usually more efficient. So if this sounds like you, consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you are new to investing, consider using my link to join Charles Schwab to trade penny stocks. Using my link, you can get free money. Also, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I'm just giving you information, and when you use my link, you're supporting my channel. Thank you very much. Without further ado, let's dig in. The same share has changed hand 20 times. When it comes to looking at companies, we want to make sure that we understand what the outstanding shares are and what the float shares are. Super, super important. For HCMC, as I was researching these numbers, I actually came across situations where Yahoo and other places have been reporting numbers that are very, very different. That to me is very troubling because as investors, we need to have very accurate information. But the sad part is that these people are not really giving us the information that we need, like Yahoo being really off. And let me demonstrate to you in the example of HCMC. So you see Yahoo Finance here indicated that HCMCs have outstanding shares of 105 billion and the float is 91.75 billion. Now this number is very, very different than the numbers that we get from OTCmarkets.com. Here, OTC Markets says that the outstanding shares is 283 billion. Restricted is standing at about 25.2 billion, and unrestricted is 258.2 billion. And the float is about 7.4 billion. The number of outstanding shares that's shown on Yahoo is less than half of what OTC Markets is showing. The number is actually 300 billion. As you recall from the video that I made previously, I show you their 8K filing. And in that 8K filing, it shows that HCMC has 300 billion shares outstanding. And this is important because the outstanding shares times the stock price gives you the value of the company or the market cap. So if your outstanding share is off, that means that the valuation of the company is off. Super important. Because OTC market shows that it's 283.5 billion shares outstanding, a lot closer to what HCMC reported in their 8K filing, then I can assume that information that's on OTCmarkets.com is a lot more reliable than Yahoo. I don't know about other companies, but at least HCMC. So I'm going to rely on OTCmarkets.com for information, especially with numbers with regards to HCMC. Let's quickly look at their numbers so that you have an understanding, basic understanding of the numbers. And so when people are making all these comments on YouTube, you can use this understanding to decide. And I will tell you why knowing this information is so useful, because there are days when you're like, well, why is it that the company spiked so much? Why did HCMC spike today? Well, if you understand these concepts, then you'll be able to understand why. Okay, so look at market cap. OTC Market says that this company is worth $510 million. The authorized shares is 750 billion. Authorized shares are the maximum number of shares a company is allowed to issue to investors as laid out. And today's volume was 28 million. On average, from early February until now, daily volume was around approximately 10 million shares. And we have a big spike on early February when it was 35 million. And the volume for today was 28.3. That means that it's high volume. So that's the reason why it spiked, right? So 28 million for a float of 7.3 billion versus, the average around 10 million. Today, it's nearly 3 times the average. So the float shares are very important. And what can change the float shares? If they have a public offering, so that means that they're going to add more shares to the company. For HCMC, we definitely don't want that. Or major shareholders decides to sell. So this makes the float a lot bigger. We don't want the float to be too big when the volume is low. In the case of HCMC, if they win the lawsuit and they say they settle for about $250 million and they decide to buy the shares back, then we'll have less floating shares, which is good for us investors, which is what we're hoping that they would do. So I hope that this little bit of information is helpful to you. I think that as an investor, we have to understand how all these numbers work. What I'm saying is at the end of the day, we have to be able to make sure that we understand the information so that we can decipher good information from bad information when we grow. So we want to make sure that we're constantly growing. That's all that I have for you today. I hope that the information was helpful. Comment below and let me know if this is the kind of information that you like in the future, and I will definitely produce more. Thank you again and take care. Happy trading tomorrow. Remember, knowledge is power.